I think now, if you'd like, if you've not seen Oli's face, there it is. What?
I hate that picture. Sorry, guys.
We did ask for a separate picture, just to be clear. Okay, so we'd love to go to questions. If anyone's got any questions for Oli or myself, please shoot them over or come online, and we could try and answer those questions.
Okay, yeah, feel free to send them over. We'll start with what we have up on the screen right now. And so I think you may have addressed this after this question was asked, but let's cover it anyway. What do you use now for your VAT return, accounting, profit and loss, balance sheet, basically all of your accounting functions?
Well, I think that the truth is, in the business world, there are some expectations on compliance accounting, and we actually, both at ACM and Metropolis, now use Sage for our final compliance accounting. So the overarching balance sheet and profit and loss that will drive our accounting, that we will then submit to the relevant bodies, Companies House, HMRC, and so on. That's actually done in Sage. And we have an integration between FileMaker and Sage. And in fact, I noticed that a while back, the guys did a particular workshop on that, and I thought that was very interesting. So get online and find that one if you can, FileMaker and Sage integration. But the client ledgers, so our day-to-day finance operation, is all dealt with in FileMaker. So all of our debtors ledgers, our client ledgers, debt chasing, credit control, I guess you should call it these days, credit control, payment processing, all done in FileMaker, but Sage is what our final accounts package, and we will just transfer final figures, at the end of every week or month, depending on how your business is set up, over into that finance package from FileMaker.
Great, thanks, Oli. I think the next question will go to Kieran. It's a fairly open-ended question, but how does Xero integrate with FileMaker?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. The FileMaker has a script step that is called get from URL. So we use a web technology to connect into Xero's API. So I think it's relatively fairly simple from FileMaker's point of view, and obviously Xero being a cloud-based online solution, they have many partners that do different things and connect into their service, so their API is pretty solid and well-rounded. So yeah, that's how we do it. Again, if you do need more information, come back to us and we'll give some more info on that.
Thank you, Kieran. At what point, this is for Oli, at what point did you decide to use outside solutions, and how did you find them in the short space of time you had when building Metrobase?
Well, actually, that conversation and dialogue of in-house versus off-the-shelf, that's an ongoing dialogue, and part of my job, because I love FileMaker, but also I try and be impartial, and although it's hard because you look at what you create in FileMaker and it feels very much your own work, and so you feel very protective over it. A lot of the time I'm having to keep on questioning as the businesses grow. Both ACM and Metropolis are experiencing really good growth happily, and I'm having to ask, well, can this thing carry on doing the job for us? Is it scalable? Is my solution scalable? Is the FileMaker technology platform scalable? And so far, the answers have been yes, happily. But I'd say that that dialogue is ongoing about off-the-shelf versus in-house. But I should say as well that there is plenty of support available. If you are somebody who has downloaded FileMaker and you like it and you get it and you think that you could build a solution, but maybe you don't have the time, there are plenty of FileMaker developers who will work with you to build something bespoke for you. Obviously, there are kind of commercial arrangements in place there, but yeah, I think that dialogue is actually ongoing all of the time.
Sorry. What do you use to integrate with WordPress?
Now this one is like a favorite of mine, ODBC. Now I love the ODBC functionality in FileMaker. You can just about connect with anything these days. So at ACM, for example, we connect with UCAS. UCAS is like a centralized admission service for all of the universities in the UK. And they actually run an Oracle-based platform that we connect to via FileMaker using ODBC. So WordPress we actually connect to in exactly the same way. Just getting a tiny bit technical, we have a FileMaker server. We create a connection using ODBC between the FileMaker server and our web server. And the two talk to each other, and then from within the FileMaker relationships window, if that makes sense to anybody, I can access all of my SQL, MySQL, SQL, tables and views on WordPress as if they were within FileMaker. And actually that goes the same for any ODBC data source. You can interact with that view, with that layout, with that table instance, if you like, in exactly the same way as if it was a native FileMaker table, and that's really cool.
Okay, I'll just add to that. I mean, so that's interesting. So you connect in live to a web server, which is using ESS, right? For anyone that wants to download ESS, right. External SQL sources, I believe is the acronym. Yes. But you could also import, right? You could do a file import from ODBC. So why do you, just out of in case anyone's knowing, you want to get really geeky, why do you go live and not import?
There are some things that we do like on a batch basis, and for those things we do use the import and export functions. I really love the XML import and export tools in FileMaker. So if you're using XML and want to interact with those feeds, you absolutely can. In fact, we've just done a huge XML project for ACM for one of the governing bodies. They're a statistics organization, and we're duty bound to provide stats to them in XML format. So we do that via an XML export. On the web stuff, we actually need real-time changes to be made. So that's why we interact using ODBC. But yeah, the options are endless. I should say for importing as well. If you've got flat files, spreadsheet files, CSVs, that kind of thing, you can also import data really easily into FileMaker that way too.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Oli, for your time today and for giving such a great presentation about your use of FileMaker. It's been really, really wonderful. Thank you for that. Thanks to Kieran as well for his demo of Zero and FileMaker integration. I think that was also of great value to our attendees today. We've reached the end of the questions, so that's all you're going to hear from us for today. So thank you very much for attending once again. Keep an eye out for notifications of future webinars. Until then, have a great evening and goodbye.